Schooling in Wa Basic Secondary in Wa, got my O-levels in Wa, got my A-levels in Wa Secondary School, both in Wa Secondary School. I went to the University of Cape Coast and took my first degree there in education psychology. Concurrently did a diploma in economics, after which I went to the University of Ghana at a later time to do a master's degree in international affairs, and then a PhD in development policy and African studies. I have worked in various places. I worked with the National Youth Council as a district coordinator, as a regional coordinator, as the director of the Leadership Training Institute, Youth Leadership Training Institute, and then subsequently was appointed the Deputy National Coordinator in charge of Finance Administration at the head office. And then I left the National Youth Council, set up my own consultancy, 2022 up to 2024. By 2025, I was in Parliament as the Member of Parliament for Wa Central. In my first term, I was a Deputy Ranking Member for Youth. In my second term, I was the Deputy Majority Leader. But just before that, I was also appointed the Minister for Youth and Sports. And in the later regime of Excellency John Dramani Mahama, I became Minister for Private Sector Development, Public-Private Partnership. And presently, I'm still the Member of Parliament for Wa Central in the 6th term, and I'm the President of the African Parliamentarians Forum on Population and Development. So now being appointed by His Excellency John Dramani Mahama, very gracious and very thankful to him, and thanks to the Almighty Allah as well. Thank you.
Thank you very much. We proceed with the vetting questions by honorable members. It is my pleasure to start giving the floor to the subject matter committee members under our own standing order 2172. So I will start with the minority members of the subject matter committee, and on the list I have is Adelaide Ntim.
Thank you, Chair. Congratulations. Minister-designate. As the incoming Minister for Labor, Jobs and Employment, can you share your opinion with Ghanaians regarding the concept of the 24-hour economy proposed by the current administration? Thank you, Chair.
Thank you. The 24-hour economy is a policy initiative by the present NDC administration, proposed to the people of Ghana and accepted by them because they overwhelmingly approve it by the votes. It is a commitment to ensure that we engage the Ghanaian worker effectively within 24 hours and ensure that in the 3 working space of the 24-hour period we live, we have each period of working space 8 years. We can engage people within that space of 8 years at within the period of 8 hours. And the 8-hour calculated in 3 space will give you 24 hours. But the whole commitment is about ensuring that we work tirelessly to ensure we reset this country. We commit ourselves to increasing production. We create value to ensure that in Ghana, we can work to produce what we want and be able to satisfy our total, to ensure we raise the economy to the point when Ghanaians can be satisfied. And our working class, the people working for the public service and for the private sector can earn what they deserve. So within 24 hours, there are a lot of institutions and organizations that can be occupied within this space of period or time.
Much. Any further question? Please, you have the floor.
No, thank you.
Well, I will then give the floor to
Right.
Deputy
Thank you very
Ranking.
much. Honorable Minister, I accept. I think you have clearly defined that working hours are 8 hours, and within that space, within the 24 hours, it will be efficiently deployed into working. What I would like to find out is that as the economy pertains at this point in time, don't we have certain sectors of our economy working within that 24-hour cycle? I can easily cite the case of even the breweries. What makes this particular 24-hour economy so special? And how can it also reset the economy as you are talking about? Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. The concept and policy direction of it is to give vent to businesses, to make it not just a choice by the worker, but a policy decision by the state, to ensure that in doing so, businesses can be supported. Those businesses that were not in 24 hours can now be supported to join the rest. It's no longer going to be as and when I like it, but just when I like it and backed by government policy. So it is true that several organizations are already working 24 hours, and that's giving credence to the fact that we can get others to join them. You know, one of the challenges that other businesses are facing working 24 hours is how much they can ensure security. And we say we'll provide the security. Is how much they can ensure enough capacity. We said we will support them with the capacity, you know, and et cetera, et cetera. How much do we have enough money to pay for electricity? We said we will support it to do so. It's simply just to boost production, create more opportunity for our people to work, and to ensure that we reshape the economy in a manner that is going to be work-based and production-based. Thank you.
Chairman, if we establish it as a policy, is it going to have a compulsory adherence? Because I believe the 24-hour, the need to work for 24 hours is always backed by demand and supply. If there's no demand for a particular service or goods, how do you develop a policy to drive this particular initiative? Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I agree with you. You know, largely will be driven by the need for it. And we believe that several organizations have the need for it. Will want to have the 24-hour economy, you know, operate within their working space, except that they don't have the ability, the capacity, the support, direction from government. So we are targeting those organizations that will be willing to go the extra length in increasing production by increasing employment, you know, engaging our young people, and creating a situation where they can effectively be engaged. But this is largely for those who need it. And for government organizations, it will be backed by policy direction, meaning that there will be a certain compelling factor for some state public organizations to operate within that 24 hours. But for private people, it's a choice you can make. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I will proceed to give the floor to Honorable Asante Boateng. Or you still have a substantive question? Please do.
Thank you, Chair. Minister designate, women expressed their concerns on the need to increase maternity leave. What are your intentions when giving the nod in respect of this subject matter? Thank you. Thank you, Chair.
This is a very, very important area, and I think it deserves further discussions, but I support it as a person. I support the affirmative action law, which we just passed. I worked very hard to contribute to it. So it's an area that is interesting, and I believe many Ghanaians are going to support it. Thank you.
Any further question? Please, your last question, if this is not a follow-up.
Thank you, Chair. Minister designate, what plans do you have to make the National Service Scheme more attractive in terms of the allowances and job content? Thank you, Chair.
I wish the National Service Scheme was under my direct care, but it's not. But I have an overall task of ensuring that the Ghanaian worker is properly engaged, and by the dictate of the Constitution, Article 24(1), it tells that we should ensure the safety, health, and fair conditions for every worker. So I think that it is on that grounds I will support any direction that will help, increase the allowance of Ghanaian civil, national.
The floor to Honorable Kwaku Asante Boateng.
Thank you, Honorable Chair. Congratulations, my brother, for your nomination. And I want to put this on record that there's one appointment that I personally I'm happy and comfortable with. Because all in gathered here, most of us here, about 70%, may not be able to handle that ministry. Handling Ministry of Employment and Labor Relations, the performance of the that force in government and 88 employees, but it's low productivity. But if you go further, one of your key or critical issues as a function is to ensure fair and equitable wages and salary for employees of all sectors in the economy. In the light of low productivity, even some are advocating that we may have to even reduce.
Honorable Asante Botin, your question, please.
How do you, in the context of low productivity of the public sector, at where, how do you superimpose the two?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I'm sure you are talking about fair payment for work done. Yeah, and the need to reconcile the fact that you are producing, you may not be producing hard enough to earn what you are doing, and how do we reconcile it? I think it's a major area we will tackle, and I'll be very happy to be, I'm happy I'm going to do it if you do approve my nomination, because it's a big question for all Ghanaians. You have quoted the number to less than 700 of public service workers. In the last visit to the ministry, they told me it's about 800. And given the 800 and given the output and the expenditure we make on production, we make in paying our workers, then you begin to wonder whether we should do something about it. I know that the Ghanaian worker is very conscientious, very hardworking, very committed, but we need a kind of policy direction to help him to produce more, so we can pay and know that we are paying something worth the while. So thank you. It's an area, very, very important area, and I thank you for this question. We would be committing ourselves to working at it.
Thank you very much. You are entitled to. Yes, please. Do.
Thank you, Honorable Chair. In the light of the answer that you just gave, people normally see Ghanaian workers as magicians in terms of what we earn every month. Meanwhile, when you look at the production aspect of it, it doesn't match. In your own way, how do you think we will be able to make the Ghanaian worker happy and work to the optimum?
Thank you very much, Honorable Nominee.
I have very full confidence in the Fair Wages and Salaries Commission as an organization that can help harmonize the policy and ensure that we get the best out of what we put in our workforce. I will definitely work with them to see how we can do it, because it is a complex issue. You are dealing with huge numbers of people. You are dealing with huge numbers of organizations. You want to create a situation where for each single person working, there is an output waive the inputs. So, commission to see how we can deal with it. Because it's also a constitutional issue. Thank you.
Any further questions?
Honorable Chair, how many follow-up questions can I have?
You have entitled to one follow-up question.
Okay.
Then please
Thank
move
you.
to your second substantive
Thank you,
question.
Honorable Chair. Let me move to my second question. Honorable nominee, when you look at your sector as a ministry with all departments under your outfit, we realize that you have a total number of 547 employees. The Ministry, Labor Department, Department of Cooperatives, National Pension Regulatory Authority, and all others. Of this, we realize that the male staffers constitute 65%, and that of female is 35%. But you look at the workforce by our population census 2021, we realize that we have a population or a workforce of 14.3 million, or 14 thereabouts. It's out of this that we have the public sector engaging 668,000, which works out to about 4.65%. The remaining is for the private sector. You realize that the private sector constitutes the huge chunk of our labor force. What are you bringing on board as a minister, if you are approved, if you are given the nod, to ensure that the private sector is able to absorb more and more of Ghanaians into their fold?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. In Ghana, we are developing a system of recording all vacancies available in all organizations, public and private sector, in the form of the labor market information system, which we will operate to cover everybody, to cover every sector in Ghana, in the public sector. What I will do is to encourage the private sector vigorously, to encourage the private sector to be part of it, to be part of the overall harmonizing effect of recording in a big data all working institutions, all institutions, and creating all the vacancies that are available in the institution, publishing those vacancies in the information system, and allowing advertising for people who are looking for jobs to be able to look in and be able to apply for those jobs. Now, once that system is in place, you will be having direct contact with the private sector. You will find which areas in the private sector are where are available for jobs for the people of Ghana, and you will work to encourage those areas. And indeed, what I want to encourage my government to do is to ensure that we embark on a system of providing support for private sector inputs into the economy, creating opportunities for people to get credits and investing in those credits, and therefore creating opportunities for people to get jobs. And then, in a snowball effect, also creating the wealth of the country through taxes into the consolidated fund. So actually, the private sector is not differentiated from our economy. It's a very key concept, part of our economy. And so encouraging them to do anything.
Honourable member, be brief in your answer. Kindly be brief in your answer.
So we will encourage them to produce as much as they can, and we will support them. Thank you.
Thank you, Honorable Chair. Follow-up question on that. Thank you, Chair. As a follow-up question to that, I gave you the numbers with regards to employees within your outfits, which is a total of 5,647. And the indications are 65-35 in proportion, male, female. But when you look at the population census, we are almost, the 2021 census indicate that female are 15.6 million and males 15.2, almost 50-50. How do you ensure that you create that balance between male and female employees within your outfit and all over Ghana? I believe the women here are listening to you and your wife.
Honourable member, I will allow that question, but treat it as a substantive question. The gender balance.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Chairman, this is something we have taken care of in our manifesto, and we call it leveling up, creating a balance between female, male, youth, adult, creating an avenue for all of them to be involved, and creating equity in job creation and in employment avenues. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you. I'll proceed to give the floor to Honorable Yusuf Suleimana.
Chairman, I'm very grateful. Honorable Dr. Alhaji Rashid Pelpu, congratulations.
Thank you.
Doctor, you are a role model. And for some of us today, we should eulogize you. Your humility, your honesty, but your competence is not in doubt. And so I'm not surprised that the president selected you for this strategic ministry. You've been a counselor for some of us, an inspiration for many, many northern young politicians. We can only wish you well. Inshallah, the good Lord will guide you as you move every step. We leave you in the hands of God. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi ta'ala wa barakatuh.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Proceeding. Largely seen as contentious. Lot of labor agitations, salary issues. Meanwhile, I fully associate with the line to toe the path spoken like yourself. However, the average Ghanaian out there, how would they be convinced that you have what it takes to balance the two, leading a ministry that will be hot, and you yourself, you are averagely soft-spoken and cool-headed? What is your biggest tool yet in your toolbox?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Well, this is a question that requires my overall personality input into a system that is often and sometimes populated with lots of agitation. I believe that if you are quiet, if you are gentle and you are thoughtful, it's easy to find answers to many, many problems. One of the greatest problems we have in this world is that where you are in confrontation with somebody and both of you are angry, you can't solve the problem. Somebody has to be thoughtful and quiet. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Any further question?
Chairman, best wishes to him. No further question.
Thank you. I'll proceed to give the
Thank you very much, Chairman, and congratulations to our senior colleague, Honorable Rashid Pelpo. I have 3 questions for him, and the first one, I'll proceed to lay the foundation to that question, a very important one. It's on pensions, and since the inception of Act 756, Act 766, that's the Pensions Act, as amended under President Kufuor, which significantly sought to unify all the pension regimes, including doing away with the then Cap 30. Just to refresh your memory a bit, Cap 30 has been in place since 1950 under the British Colonial Ordinance, and that's Ordinance 42, popularly known as Cap 30. The rationale and objective for the unification was, among other things, to improve retirement benefits as well as to ensure equitable contribution of all manner of employees, both government and private sector employees. To date, governments haven't been able to implement the unification program, resulting in injustice to some sections of the Ghanaian workers at the expense of others. For example, all workers under the security services do not contribute to their pensions and still enjoy the benefits under Cap 30, while employees with the civil service, Ghana Education Service, Ghana Health Service, Judicial Service, Parliamentary Service are contributing to their pensions. With this background, would you consider, as a matter of fairness and justice to all employees, to ensure the unification of this? Thank you.
Thank you. Definitely, I will consider working towards a unification being a point of understanding that will create lesser controversy from institutions and organizations negotiating on their own at different levels. If you have a uniform and unified approach, I'll go in for that. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
As a follow-up, so you are assuring the good people of Ghana and the working public of this unification that we spoke about?
As I'm still not the minister, but I'm giving my own opinion. If it coincides with the thought structure of the ministry, definitely I will go in for it. Thank you.
Okay, I ask because government spends over 300 million cedis in pensions on some of these areas. And let me shoot straight to the second question, Chairman. I know you are in a rush, and we are here to work. So allow us some space to ask some of the questions, Chairman. The second one is, Rashid Pelpo is our senior colleague. He's very, very good. So let's do some business. The second question is on the single spine salary structure. And in 2009, between 2009 and 10, under Professor Mills, the president of the single spine salary structure. For equity and fairness, and on the background of low salaries for workers, for some reason, some services, because of this. I don't know if you recall. What is the NDC government going to do with regards to the new salary structure being demanded by CLOSAC, and whether or not you grant same for them?
Thank you very much. I know that this is one of the key areas of concern and still under negotiation, the review of the single spine salary scheme. And I would plead for your support. I will join my colleague Ghanaians who are within the space of the labor industry, so we can finally get to a point when a review can take place, so we can have a satisfactory response from the NDC government to the many questions posed in that request for review. Thank you.
Thank you. I don't have any follow-up on that, but I'll go on and ask my last question. Honorable Jisa wants me to finish my question, but I don't know what his problem is. It's on Act 651. I'm sure you are familiar with it, the Labor Act. And some employees suffer all forms of harassment and violence at workplaces. And I would want you to tell Ghanaians some of the gaps within Act 651, especially on harassment and violence at workplaces. You hear some big private sector players beating their employees, women complaining here and there at workplaces. What are some of the gaps reading through Act 651 that you've identified, that you'll be sending a proposal to Cabinet for a review of this very important act? Thank you very much.
Mr. Chairman, Act 651, the Labor Act, is the overall definition of our approach to labor. These issues he has mentioned are not gaps in that act. What it is our inability to implement fully the directives, the legal instruments that are found in that act. But I understand that because of changing effects of labor workplace reforms, because of issues about technology coming into our work life, and et cetera, there will be the need to look at it again to see how we can review it to commensurate with present changes and effects. And he, being a lawyer and a friend, I'm very sure with his deep interest in it, he will be a key person we can target to get resource person in this the Labor Acts reviewed and maybe amended. Thank you.
Chairman, I have just a follow-up on this, maybe for a fee when I'm consulted. Will you, from what you
The bar must prosper.
Rightly so, Chairman. With all that you've said, would you consider increasing the retirement age from the civil service and the public service?
Mr. Chairman, there's a lot of talk about increasing the retirement age now. Some say up to 65, some say up to 70. They are still strong. Why should they retire? I think it should come as a result of a harmonious decision. We would need, as Ghanaians, to reconsider or to consider whether it is time for us to do so or not. A minister, somebody who is nominated and facing the possibility of being accepted or rejected, might not be able to make a strong point there. But I will go along with the many who will pose a view that there is a need for a reform, given our economy and our capacity to deal with it. Thank you.
My senior brother, congratulations. Katuma.
Oh, Abison, thank you.
Thank you very much. I proceed to recognize Hajia Ladi Ayamba, Honorable.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Take your output. As expected, and inshallah you will do it. By the grace of the Almighty Allah, you will do it. But there is a very simple question I want to ask. And Mr. Chairman, let me precede it by the 24-hour economy and the fact that started now. That started.
Honorable member, address the chair. Please proceed.
So, laudable policy that His Excellency John Dramani Mahama, I know, will ensure that it happens, it works, and it's something we are all looking up to. We are aware that the 24-hour economy will ensure job creation. One of the areas that our opponents hyped and spoke about so much was Agenda 111, which is supposed to be doing with hospitals. We have a lot of backlog of nurses and doctors waiting, and we have so many hospitals running with either 2 or 3 doctors. Even our chief compounds that have more or less turned into clinics, health posts, sometimes even hospitals, if you may take it, need more nurses or doctors. You go to a hospital and then you are told that the doctor just closed, so you have to wait for 8 hours, or you will be coming tomorrow. Will you consider, under the 24-hour economy, although the MPP hyped Agenda 111 and the president told us in his State of the Nation address that they were able to complete, the former president, sorry, they were able to complete only 3. Will you consider bringing them on board and ensuring that the 24-hour economy will make you bring in all the nurses and doctors and staff that are needed, and that you will divide the long hours being spent by this health staff to about maybe 8 hours each, so that they run shift and then they are able to attend to our people? Will you consider looking at that? Thank you.
Mr. Speaker, Mr. Chairman, yes, I will consider so, given the fact that we have a responsibility to create jobs and to employ our young people in these areas. Thank you.
Congratulations once more, and I wish you all the best. Be guided.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. I move to Ritana Odolesowa. Honorable.
Thank you, Honorable Chair. I wish to congratulate Honorable Rashid, my senior brother, for his nomination by His Excellency, the President of the Republic of Ghana, John Dramani Mahama. Honorable nominee, there are lots of people out there looking for jobs, but sometimes we find out that children are used for certain jobs. My area of concern is children who are especially sent to go fishing, where they abandon their education. What do you intend to do about that? Thank you.
Our labor law is against child labor. And so we are going to be up and doing to ensure that the right things are done. Children are not engaged in doing adults' work. Children are not young adults. They are children. We have to respect that. We have to bring them up to grow to be responsible adults and not to degrade them by putting so much heavy load on them whilst they are still supposed to be learning. And so it is something that we can work on. It's a key area of our enterprise in the labor industry.
Thank you. You have more questions. Please go ahead and ask.
Thank you, Chairman. And before my other question, I believe we have to take a serious look at it. Honorable nominee, in the area of employment, we have the private sector also supporting government in employing our people. But one area that is of keen interest to me is the private security. People are employed, but sometimes they are not paid according to the minimum wage. And I want to find out from you what you intend to do regarding these private security companies. Thank you.
Well, Mr. Chairman, I think that if we agree on a minimum wage, the law is that it cuts across every organization. You shouldn't pay below that minimum wage. So if we find anybody doing so, you'll be subject to questioning. And if you violate the law, will be prosecuted. We may not prosecute you, but it's important for you, for us to take it up to the levels where the right things are done. Ghanaians should not be cheated. We know how much the minimum wage is, just about 18.5 Ghana cedis. And if you can pay up to that, then it will bring many, many questions on your kind of organization. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Chairman. On this note, I wish to congratulate you. A lot have been said about you, and that is very true, your temperament, and I know you are going to take that into the ministry and ensure that you are going to work well with His Excellency and the people of the Republic of Ghana. God bless you.
Thank you.
Honourable members, fortified by standing order 2177, I proceed to recognize Deputy Whip.
Thank you, Chairman. I'd like to congratulate you. I think I will also join my colleagues to say that you've been not only a leader, but a father to many of us in the chamber. Chairman, my question to him, I intend not to ask you a question because you are a six-time member of parliament, a former leader of parliament, a former minister. You know, you have it all. But there was some news that I cited in some section of the media to the effect that you said youth who are unemployed in our country can go and cut grass where they breed animals or gather stones and sell where there are buildings. I want a clarification. In which context did you say so? And the first question should be if actually you said so, and if yes, in which context?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Chairman, if this question were not asked, I wouldn't have been happy at all. Mr. Chairman, I was at Newsfile. I think it was 2015 or so, and Ghana was getting hot. Campaigning was on for the elections, 2016 general elections. I went to Newsfile and I was asked a question. It was about job creation and about getting people to be employed. I explained that whilst I was coming, I met a specialist, and he explained to me that everybody can work. And when he said so, he cited those examples. He said that if people are not employed, if people want to be employed, they can be employed on their own. Even if they have no education, they have no skill, they could still work. And he cited the example of a person living close to a place where buildings are being constructed. And he said, if you live within that space, that area, and you feel you are unemployed, you can create a job for yourself. He didn't say graduates, because I heard people saying, I said graduates. I never said that. So that person said, for persons who are unskilled and not educated, and you live close to a place where construction is taking place, you could gather the stones there, you could gather stones there. At the time, stones were close to a place where construction is taking place. You could gather the stones there, at the time, stones were the negotiation was close to about 1,200 yards. And he said it would be so. Those stones stood, they would make something inside. And then he also said that if you live in a place where the agreement happens, for such a person satisfied, because you can access and sell those people and he earns something. In this sense, that single person has no education and no skill has no problem. So I started that. And then the capture, the part I was explaining that alone. And you see the lot. I remember I saw it a lot in the Mississippi of Kenya. And he said, listen, I said, the people are catching us here, you are catching us here. And all the schools and all that. I know what I was talking about. And I realized that this was and I was also looking for the gentleman who gave me the last day. So when I saw it the other time, I said, give me this idea, I'm going to try it. And then I've done it. I wish you would do So this guy is not the case that I'm saying. I was just quoting something and trying to encourage why I made focus. If you are a nurse and you have a certificate, you are better off. You go to a community where there are no nurses, nurses are so if you have money, and you go to the town where things are not so, you can buy things and they will say, if you go to a place where there's a particular product that the people consume a lot, in the you can go and produce that product and sell it there. That's a bigger form of it. That was just a basic example. Other examples will be if you go to a place where there are no you can sell it to the business. If you go to a place where people have not knowledge about anything, you can go and sell it because there. It is deep, respectfully, we are there force. So we can find within ourselves the capacity and the needs to them. Thank you very much.
Listen, I did control one. Listen, I don't know where the office is. My next one. Yes. Yeah, our friend is the national energy regulatory authority. Now, all the pension schemes and institutions, including SNAP. SNAP is actually set up before. And please that we are that happening at SNAP. That of course attempt to help us. You have to see the regulator has to do the pass to provide this. So I guess so, but I would say that's a just
Alors, c'est le soir, on dit. On dit. Last one, not or not tapping the rate. If not, open a not ready. I got you can say on you soon. And then number. Not a business agent, power. You need Windows, Anna. You must also. You might be like my son, we pan, baby, Lucy, the Francis, the F. and Yakra. Or the born ba case mame Mr. Santika on last one is name KV back case KV on for issue. No, that's where at 4. On one password at 4. See. Capital P. Machine. At 4. Password at 4. So yeah, now of course, and I'm first login. So yeah, this are settings. It's a new password. So it's on. It's on. Tombo, como isso ba? Essa password. Essa password na combination. We just type here. Combination no. There should be caps. It should be that.
So I say on the
Hello? Yeah? Yeah. News unedited. Our news. I'm open news for them. But I'm open news for them.
But this woman, this people must give work for. They will lose it. They have to show that. That is also awesome. Four is don't take this and why? As Ghanaians, I know they understand that with the ability of the kind of public sector they run, and the fact that we achieve and by the system laws, the Labor Act, especially the wages and salaries, the commission, we need to ensure that there is a match as one there's a match between production and then sorry, what we produce and what we earn. There must be concordance. And so we are going to look at that. That's why I share the proposal that the wages and salaries, the fair wages and salaries commission, the fair wages and salaries commission are the very decision labor activities. So that and I do accept it. And rather than just follow this, the fair wages and salaries commission is all about productivity and the engagement when you capture it in that sense, and one of the support it. Then you know that when you're doing negotiation, you need to think about the fact that yes, I have to produce, but I must earn something. How much will I produce? How much will I get? So that's the big problem. That's I step back.
I'm raising this because on this one, there are put down sharing as we need to understand. That's why I came for that dimension. That we should look at the different dimensions of the issues that are at stake. Related as against output and level minimum assurance. So I just want to know your attention to that. It is very important that that should be considered very close to the working relationship with the third parties. Honorable Governor, the planetary government is rapidly changing. It is now being driven by technological advancement, shifting business environment, climate change, the digital transformation, the creating new needs for the labor market. To remain competitive, workers need continuously improve their skills, acquire technical, vocational education, training institutions, their training with the demands of the world. Unfortunately, many people often stay with or require skills to find honorable money. If you are not, how will you education to ensure that graduates, especially have the required skills for the job?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Chairman, this is still that. That's why I believe on the possibility of modern and golden agricultural industry that are Chinese the technology that AI, all other kinds of job situations, big data systems that are run by limited skills There's new objects, and that will have a direct consequence on the law of legal trade. That's we define our labor law. It's something that we have developed. So many institutions in the country are honorable members. I ask you, I'm just asking if we keep that because you see, a lot of people have to also show some regulation. My question is, you guys, one thing, for me, that I want to have, congratulations, always, money, all the
30.
Thank you. Without wasting time, honorable members, order. Let there be order outside. I will proceed to give the floor to Honorable John Dago. Last time the United States will block agreement and also disadvantage that the United States has said from the Paris Agreement. The scientists will be unwilling to go by the Paris Agreement. Which is
Oh, the actual from Kong Runner. Yeah, you.
Original TV, original FM. So can you associate with us? Next straight mama say. original team, Ghana Ye team.
And for higher return television, so we're very good at setting on the I as I celebrate the property education school that is kind of your sports. Now, the main just what I see women or a Nana family or say that it's a more years and more about to done. As you will feature it, and I can move for 2 years or more a year truck pusher. I friend said Isaac Taylor, and I said Uguru, and then participate here as a war a or one casa, then I'll put a board on also in feature if you're nine, also a year truck pusher, a friend of Papa Adongo, our team, our pro up with year imagine. Two guys as a issue, Yawada and Pay, Brother Chester, no pro album, a Cooper liner, and all a team. I want to talk Castle original, also agents, and I'm the queen. I guess I'm off and 4 years if share it boom, and I'm sure I'm not just a professor is here. Now, but what is the time? Every hour a year back from a political watching about people. Let's agree a mono about a Mukadia Saturday. I will give up one part of the upon and support Babaye and a civil education, not just what's the actual be to the head. We also to be up for a year. About the two guys who people might have actually elements of the college here, and you are very persistent about actually for a year or more the level to be up for any amount of year as a schedule for the Ghana is not a board and population and from a year of 700 watts and more for my Ghana the book a year of that is we got a year actually now for a year of and I think you have some about for a year.
And always decide to serve your constituency in this house. And sometimes people serve for a very long time. My instance, I was here 20 years ago. I know of colleagues in this house who have been here for the past 24 years. And yet, those people leave this house without an adequate ancient arrangement to cater for their needs so that they can live in dignity when they leave this house. There is a perception that we are all very rich and we are well to do. But many of you in this chamber know that that is far from reality. There are many of us who are not that well to do and haven't prepared very well before coming to this house and have had a difficulty throughout their stay in this house, maintaining their constituencies and themselves. And yet, we don't have a pension scheme that caters for MPs when they leave this house. Some MPs leave this house and within months, sometimes not years, most MPs leave this house and within a very short period of time, when you meet police outside this house, they are in a very miserable and deplorable state. And sometimes, while here, out of our legal resources, we have to extend support to our colleagues who unfortunately couldn't make it to return to this house. The public out there believes that members of parliament are rich. Yes, they have a right to believe so, because of the way we also carry ourselves out there. Secondly, Mr. Speaker, it's also primarily because of the way our parties also organize our parliamentary primaries. The kind of resources we're able to conserve and mobilize to go and win primaries the distribution of items also needs credence to the fact that we are a rich class. The Speaker, we also need to watch that. The Speaker, the public also didn't know that the car loans take are deducted from our salaries and our source, and that we make the right contribution to our policy. And that the member of parliament pays this on a driver and it comes from the same salary, unlike other Article 71 office holders who enjoy all those benefits. Mr. Speaker, the public also knows there are some countries right from day one, not pay their salary or their earnings. Take facilities when they face some of the problems that is not within the constitution. It is clear and must be known.
Our business is all about our business is done naturally when we come. Because once you put someone there to take care of your business while you are there, the person has found the gold mine. Excuse me. The person who has found the gold mine thinks that afterwards you have the money, you can get a gold, let me go on. By the time this woman or this person comes back, I should have put up a house, I should have a car, and I should have all the basic that I did have. What is very bad? Is a figure. I want us to know that any constituent believe that we are giving money to go to the elections. I can assure you, people will make these statements, you will be shocked. Whether primary or general elections, we must make sure that we let this go out there that nobody gives another person money to go campaigning, whether primary or general elections.
Please permit me to disagree with some of my colleagues. This is an act of government. Our conversation should not be about some other act of government underwriting or supporting what this arm of government seeks to do. In fact, I can say that our conversation should be that the matters under Article 71(1), when it comes to determining the conditions of service of a member of parliament, should rather be expedited, so that there's clarity on what your compensation is as a member of parliament any year. And out of that, you take responsibility for your own pension arrangements. We are asking ordinary people, business people, civil servants to plan for their financial future and to take responsibility out of their own salaries for taking out whether life insurance policies or other things. So instead of worrying about which arm of government is coming to or should be invited to come and provide seed money or underwrite or support us, I think let's leave it to the committee to go and do their work. But specifically because some of these suggestions have come, I think we should be focused rather on urging the leader of government business and the government to inform the president to deal with that.
Nashim Demo Jama Shanama for Wokoya, Professor from Mountain for Thomas, while I know Chaco about what it is about to my Ghana and I should be for any second. And I was saying before any politics, and she would go and say, 1 hour I buy it and I'll be for 1 a year I buy it and I don't from as a open thing and I want to open and in our country,
and area that if looked at properly will help the economic function very well. But I'm happy with the 2 items you mentioned, which are the challenges, democracy in our state institutions, which have become bottleneck that all of us have to look at and see how it can be removed. There is an area that has discouraged a lot of people in that particular area not to engage much in that sector. Formalizing the mass sector, will help both government and those involved in that particular sector. Because while government tries to help them,
also take the classes to grow the economy. Opportunities as she and other members mentioned out is here for us. The hope that we have waited for years is here with us. And I'm happy members from the other side have also mentioned the opportunities that are available for e-commerce sector, like the Women's Development Bank that will be in our next budget that we presented to Parliament. All this, I believe strongly, will help the e-commerce sector formalize it so that they will also be in the capacity to help.
First, I'll be a Council of State and the Board of Amantel to our office of Pure and FNP and yes, Captain of Providing as a one everything after our Amaka and Campo and what to passport.
We and I learned to get attention. The before we and go to get on any effort, one ever from Swaba, we provide an Amaka and Kata. We will back our Kata and we have for parents or but not ever provide to them. But not I can Kata for yet and we have to be able to look at about where I have not control by the former related. That's what I will keep you and let you. That's why I message. Let me have to about I
They shouldn't look out for they should think in terms of those first, where they come from, and then there's a different that. But Ghana, you are Christians who are thinking about building a better future for the youth, because we are going to do this. Without that, what are we fighting? What are we fighting? Nothing. Why find it like that? We all most especially those of us of mortality. It is time to develop mortality. It is time to work together. Good succession to people, the young people who will be following us. To do development that go a long way to leave a legacy of whatever we are taking from this country. This is why we build make sure all that develops. For me, I have a lot of experience from banking, through finance, through fishing, and many sectors as a consultant. And this is the time for me, the network I have, bring it back to the region, bring investors from all over the world, to create jobs, to train people, to set up scholarship schemes, to train young people in IT. IT is very critical to me because it's the future of the whole world. We want to make modern region above IT. Anybody who wants somebody to be an IT expert should become modern.
So I did and I know they are kind of to the castle where the foreign jobs and missions to have so why you just what I say, we know they are Helen, Nana, Pam, or say something a trash about the people. And what my God, actually, you know, that's it. By airport system, and so you have to do a break to me. Now, just say to the other person, you take on what to about the as well for people, you know, what I say before. That's it, and yet, and what my God, actually, the whole now, that's it.
Unknown to many people, if you read Genesis 2:15, there's ample statement that demonstrates that we must all be open for and we come and read the Quran, Quran chapter 2, verse 13, Surah Al-Baqarah. Allah himself admonished us. There are hadiths, and when I say hadiths, these were the sayings and the practices
of the whole project, where he insisted that even in war, you don't cut down trees. So there is some reasons why everybody, and I believe in the African traditional religions, they tell you that when the last tree is cut, the last man dies. If you read other religions, Judaism, Zoroastrianism, Buddhism, you see that they all have aspects of the need to protect the environment. So if you ask me, I think that is one major challenge, and it's encapsulated a lot of things. Because they cut down trees, they destroy water bodies, they destroy livelihood, they destroy the habitat that needs to grow. So if I say Galamsey, I think that it encapsulates a lot of aspects of the examples that I may be given as one of the things that affects us.
Thank you, Chairman, the follow-up. I'll have you mention about cutting down trees. Can you tell us the percentage of forest cover about 50 years ago?
Mr. Chairman, I'll not be able to. What I can say is that I know that the World Bank financed a project undertaken by EP and the Ministry to determine the destruction of water bodies in the forest. And the report was shocking. When you quantify it, it constituted about 10% of our GDP. So what I even intend to do is to take an audit of the environmental degradation that we have had in this country. Well, if you have an audit that is done, then you have something, in hand that you can work. But it seems to me that we are engaged in firefighting. You cannot specifically say this is the level of destruction of the activities of Galamsey and other human activities to our environment. So the first thing I intend to do is to see if we can have a national audit to be able to determine the percentage of the environment that is destroyed, taking into consideration the work that was funded to be done by the World Bank and EP and MS. So that's what I think.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Chairman. I still want to put my brother down to that soon. This is a follow-up, Chairman. I want to know, presently, if you have an idea,
I don't have that.
Okay, what I can tell you is that the substantial amount of deforestation taking place. You are very honorable, my very good friend. You are to ask questions. A preamble. But you say, what do you can tell me? Thank you, Chairman. That's a substantial the level that if there is nothing, Ghana will follow up. And you're going to tell me, what measures are you going to put to grow our forest?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. We know that there was a policy of planting trees in this country, headed by the Minister of the Minister of Lands and Natural Resources. I was surprised that Messi was not involved in that. And I was surprised also that if you look at the Ministerial Committee on the Minister of Environment, Science and Technology is not a member. The reason why Galamsey and the destruction of the environment is an issue because it affects the environment. So if you have a committee that is to see to it that we spend the time, I think that the Minister of Environment should play a leading role in terms of that. Now, I think we can have every child per tree policy, every child. And children are engaged in competition and they love that. So if you have a policy that every child should have plant a tree and nurture that tree, it is technically the Mohammed's vision, as captured in the NPC's manifesto, that every man a tree. So I'll take it further, apart from every man a tree, every child should plant a tree and nurture it. We should also have aspects to look at how we can, work in hand with the Ministry of Agriculture to support farmers to reclaim some of the degraded lands. There are several ways people who are engaged in agricultural activities can do that. That is environmental friendly. And these are some of the issues I will take up with other ministries such as Ministry of Life.
Yeah, Mr. Chairman, my second question. You know, I'm coming from the region, and one major mechanism that farmers face is post-harvest loss. You are going to ministry where you are going to be in control of science, technology, and all that. What plans do you have to use technology, especially nuclear energy, to preserve agricultural people so we can reduce this post-harvest loss?
First and foremost, I'll be looking at increasing the funding sources of some of these state institutions. In the Ghana, Ghana Atomic Energy, Commission, and you have EPA, you have CSIR. They all have the capacity to come up with new innovative ways by which we can assist to protect our environment. Unfortunately, if you look at budgetary allocation to them, I'm not encouraging. One, I would insist that we increase budgetary allocation to them. So what I have done, I've had engagement with heads of the various institutions, and I insist that they all present to me a paper. The paper determines the challenges they are facing within the agencies. Challenges which prevents them, unfortunately, from executing to their fullest capacity. And means by which we can find solutions to them. So that if I am discussing them with the government, I should discuss with the government having something that is concrete. So I think that once we get to it, we'll be able to engage various techniques. Now, Mr. Chairman, the issue of post-harvest loss, it is not only limited just to the environment. It has something also to do with portability, access to farmlands. Well, I'm a farmer myself, and I've seen people who engage in small-scale farming that they can harvest their farm produce, but they find it extremely difficult to cut them to market centers to sell. And they all contribute to the post-harvest loss. How do you work in tandem with the Ministry of Goods so that that linkage that ought to exist between ministries is deepened? And I think that these are some of the issues I want to look at. So, in as much as I look at the aspects of the environment and what we intend to do, I look at the aspects of other ministries can do in line with the Ministry of Environment, Science and Technology to reduce this post-harvest loss and increase agriculture. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Yeah, thank you. In your answer, you give an indication that you work in collaboration with other ministries and agencies to develop some of these problems. But there's a key policy, government policy, that is extended. Technology begins at home. You know that. How are we, when you be the law, along with the law of Parliament, when you be the law, what are you going to do to break the back in the fair policy if you want to benefit of this?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I think STEM is not only important but essential in our drive towards innovation, industrializing, first and foremost in conjunction or in collaboration with the Ministry of Education. If we can add STEM education in our educational curricula at all levels, it seems to me that it is only limited to those who want to study in the area of science, innovation and others. People should have basic knowledge in all aspects of science and mathematics. So if we can add that in our educational curriculum at all levels, I think it's something that will help. One also to come out with a comprehensive policy to build the capacity of young people, particularly in the area of technology and IT. If we do so, it will help. Another thing is that the Ministry of Communication is doing something in the area of ICT, where they can help young people across the country through the provision of the optic cable, so that we can have access to internet everywhere. I will work in collaboration with the Ministry of Communication, Ministry of Education, to see how best we can assist. I do know there are a lot of donor-funded, funding that is available. How do we access that? Even if our capacity as a state is difficult to get, we can get some donor funding. We take there are a lot of UNDP. They have a funding facility where they build the capacity of people who are engaged in cyber activities. So we take advantage of them to be able to find a solution to some of this problem.
Well, Mr. Chairman,
we have follow-up questions from the stand. Was in asked for.
No, you asked the first question. The second question was on post-harvest loss. The third one was on STEM education. So if you want to ask a question on a follow-up question on STEM education, I will allow you. But if it is not a follow-up question, then you have to just say your question.
Sorry, Mr. Chairman, the STEM education that you spoke about, you need something. All agencies and some are more endowed, others not. How are you going to ensure that those that are not endowed, like atomic, they come to the rescue in terms of budgetary allocation? So they can also be up and doing, because without those agencies working in full capacity, there's no way to get the programs we have the country solution. So I want to know what else you have, a budget issue. How are you going to implement this?
That is John. I know that some of the investors will not be happy if you say they are endowed. But when I engage them, we all complain. That is true. Even in the eyes of these challenges and difficulties we all go through, there are some. I think that we can have an internal arrangement within the Ministry of Environment and Sustainability. For example, if you have EPA that has the capacity to conduct research, CSIR also has the capacity to conduct. Ghana Atomic Energy Commission will also have the capacity to conduct research. So if EPA is better in terms of their financial standard, then let's say CSIR, and EPA has a research to conduct, we can seed that research to see CSIR to conduct. But once they conduct, there will be some financial assistance they will get. So instead of EPA doing it, you can seed it to CSIR. That will facilitate the work. But in my engagement with them, one of the agencies whose name I wouldn't mention, the head of that agency is driving an old car, a car that the previous head, and it's also driving the same car. And I think that if we do this, at least the funding sources can be channeled to those agencies. And then to help, shore up their financial standing. That's one thing I want to do. Another thing, I want to make a stronger case to His Excellency the President, the need for us to increase the budgetary allocation for these agencies. Research is signed on money for our growth and development and sustainability. Unfortunately, the percentage of GDP that is allocated to research in this country is discouraging. If you read the NBC's manifesto, President Mahama intends to up that so that we have enough money that is given to research. Another way I think we can do that is to see how honorary players be free. Another way I think we can do that is to see how we link up these research institutions to the private sector, particularly industry players, so that let them understand that research is important to our success. If we're able to do that, it will help them to be financially viable so that they can execute the project.
Yes, I'm not going to I like your view including the budget allocation to those agencies. And you meeting them, at least you got to know the real situation over there. One key issue that's affecting some of these agencies is the capping policy. Because a lot of them, maybe through IT, have raised enough funds to prosecute your programs. I want to find out if you would tell the Minister of Finance that, or what do you do about the captions so that your agencies will have the needed funding?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I have an outstanding working relationship, a personal relationship with the minister. And for me, that is a plus. And two, like I indicated earlier, I've asked all the agencies to present the paper to me. The challenges, the possible outcomes, if those are able to be solved, and the financial impact it will have on the activities of those agencies. And one of the I will study, I will constitute a technical team within the ministry so that we can make a stronger case with excellency of person. One other thing I will do, like I said, engage private people, private businesses to be interested in research and see how we can commercialize research output. I think commercialization of research output is very, very important. So that will also be a source of generating some funds for some of the agencies. So these are some of the things that I think I need.
Thank you, all members. I give the floor to Honorable Minister.
Thank you. Honorable Mutala, I like the way you answered all the questions. I must say that I was going to go that time, but my colleague has asked all the questions to answer properly. But then your last point about commercialization. When it comes to funding of the research institutions, because we are able to get money locally for them, there's a tendency for some of them don't get research. There's a difference between paying salaries and giving them money for research. That's the problem. Because of that, this idea of research institutions going commercial is being floated. What is your take on that? You believe that they should go commercial? And if they go commercial, is it not going to affect their core business of doing R&D? Thank you.
When I read the act of the CSI, I got the sense that there's a commercial aspect of the work that unfortunately that is not being done. That's one. Two, you are commercializing the entire research institutions under government. You are commercializing the output so that they can still perform their core functions as state institutions, but they also be engaged in conducting some research for commercial purposes so that they can generate some revenue to be able to execute that which the state demands them to. Because I realized one thing with my engagement and some of the information I've gathered, that you have a lot of scientists and experts under various agencies, under the Ministry of Environment, Science and Technology, who are doing work privately and earning some income, using state facilities to execute those researches, and no money comes to the state. I think it ought to stop. Even if there is a percentage of what they earn that comes to the institution that they engage, because they are employees of the state. The state pays them. Well, I must say that they should engage in having some private researches that they conduct for international organizations. One thing we have noticed, that some of them, they ask them to conduct the research. When they get the information they get, they even before the conclusion, I would excuse them. So it's a form of a free market. Unfortunately, that brings within Ghana. It is not taken out of it. I think that is something. Now you have to I don't you have it.
Don't you think it may require the setting up of a special center that should be looking at this commercialization of this research output? Thank you.
Thank you. I think it's not a good idea and something that is
Can we we are businessmen, we work faster, when we die, every time you have somebody lost, man.
Honestly, yes, and not necessarily a question, but Mr. Nominee, if you go back to CSI, realize that you have, as I said, we have capable scientists
And sometimes afford to go from that. That would be so fine for all the ice cream. Everybody right for all the things seriously for that the business to fishing right must not fail to let but now my question point please I want to think that it's not good for this. This must be fair discussion. But may I ask again, when you go to the research institutions, particularly animal research, at the local school, they have a problem with land issues. Their land in the coast. And I know you are aware. Because they are here and how are we going to navigate this? How are we going to get people some of the good lands that are people complete time without number. There is certain nature how people are approaching the land. When I had interaction with some of the agents, particularly CSI, that we had about 181 acres of 81 acres of land at around airport. They didn't have it. By the time they finished their meeting, it was reduced from 81 to 51. So 30 acres more. I will insist to find out where those lands are. But I made it very clear to them that if they are telling me that it was 81, by the time they finished from 81 to 51, we need to find out where the 30 acres of land are going to. One other one in collaboration, one with the minister of to see how best they can protect some of this. If you can have a fast on environment, it's an idea that I'm thinking to see if you can have that. So that the conjunction with the Minister of Justice and the Chief Justice, if we can have a fast track court to deal with environmental institutions. Even land that belongs to some of these institutions can't even be added as part of the issues. It will help. Because one of the agencies told me that they have spent almost 50% of their time going to court and chasing those who are encroached on their land. One natural fact they are spending the time that will aid the effective work. Hold on. Don't hold on. You don't have to take it. Please go ahead. Thank you. Other one I don't know that investigating those behind this because the information I have is that some of us are Chairman. Thank you very much, Chairman. What sorry, I made a controversial statement that we have please. Okay, nominee, please. Mr. Chairman, I think this the new information is given to me as to the publicity of employees of those institutions. I think that people to so he's an honorable member, and I think that all candidates make a statement without it. So after that engagement with him, so that we can involve appropriate institutions in investigating. Yes, I will let you speak, please.
Honorable Acting Chair, Honorable Nominee, you made a categorical statement about the dwindling size of the lands for research and other purposes. Have you actually done an intensive inquisition into why it is happening? Because I believe there's a school of thought that while the research centers are at the moment, it's not serving the purposes for which they were established. And it would be advisable if they are relocated beyond, because you are talking about animal research center, and some of the lands that are required by that. So I just want to find out from you whether you have actually made a deep investigation into why these lands are being allocated.
Mr. Chairman, I indicated in my response that this was something that came up when I engaged the various agencies that are interested. I think that we would take a part we are losing the I can't invite fire credits. Was if I'm told that each one is take care. It's I didn't be a man. What when you so I would your advice is something that is very I know you've been a working inside the issue before. I've had interactions with you and I told you that after I get it, I will engage you further. I think you'll be a very important person to be around this information. Media information.
I would like to call on it's your turn.
Yes. They say deposit automatic. Anymore.
It was a business. It was a business. To where there are no matter.
I think the only thing I
my 5 business in
they are better to test now. And he be at the end of the year.
If you get into the industry,
you say I hear you surprise
keep that the cost so that this new opportunity can be realized by thank you, Mr. Chairman, Officer Thomas Frank.
I know spices.
And if you're able to identify where
hey, rest.
I know you can get a room.
Fine
boy. Like I said earlier, if ministries are working together, we'll be able to identify some of the solutions to the Ministry of Foreign Affairs. We'll be able to ministry together with having a
but I was saying, but what would you to see a bear?
Thank you for the answer.
But I look at home. I mean, there was a practice. Yeah, and to be honest,
we pass a law, the Ghana National Research.
If you mention the mind, maybe the
passage of the law,
so interested.
The president is supposed to allocate $2 million. Then subsequently, up to about 1% of our for this fund. It will take over 5 years down the line. No rush has taken place. That steps will be taken as soon as we get to
daily and now
there was a difficulty as to which ministry handles it. I think when the debate was between Ministry and Ministry of Education, as a good ministry should handle it. Unfortunately, this debate came in, going for 4 years. Yes, 50 million councils as the city of that. The information I got as of this morning is that because of that debate, as to who the minister handles it, it was only in 2024, I think that by the end of 2024, that the president directed the Ministry of Education should handle the particular fund. So what I'll do is that, of course, I'll sit with the Minister for Education, going to be my senior brother, and see how we can tailor the funding of it to meet the vision and the policy position of His Excellency the President. As a matter of fact, I don't mind my minister if we are to work together. For me, it doesn't matter who is handling that facility. That is actually I think that is what I do. Sure that one cancel with the relationship between the government that be aware about you assuring the party of this country is strong. I don't know why the people in the person having graduated don't do that in the case of Ghana. When I had my first engagement with presidential institutions, I got the sense that every head there is a professor. When we were to do, self-introduction, and at a point, I don't just address someone as professor. I said, no, I'm not a professor. I said, I thought every, head of an institution and then I do understand that it's a purely technical school. I do understand that it is full of scientists. I will give them the absolute freedom to think, as long as what they do is in sync with the vision and policy direction of President Man. I wouldn't have any problem. And I indicated that, I would allow them to create whatever they think that we should do that will near to the benefit of the people of European and align with the vision and policy position of President Obama. I'm going to go with that. So I respect that. I respect people who decide to do it, and I wouldn't have any problem. Thank you for giving us wish you all the best. Thank you very much.
One person to be between the vice and one the coins vice now.
Congratulations and well done. I am not surprised. I will make sure I'll put that
53672.
The only thing I am praying for is long life, happiness, and the energy to work. Inshallah, so I congratulate you. Any exchange? Yes. If you go to most of our people, you will find this class. I know there is a whole chunk of things that
when the prompting now, like prompting, but that's a way I don't know why.
Yes,
no, me allow cash out. No matter.
For us,
to cash out.
the job
for everyone, notwithstanding whether you are
only they don't have, I don't think you have more opinion. Amazing.
6 and 5.
8, 6.
I intend to demonopolize the management of this business and by engaging local government authority and SMEs. I believe if we do so, there will be opportunity to create more jobs for people. In the last parliament, I was a member of the Public Accounts Committee. And when we went around the country, we realized that local authorities can also have the capacity to be able to do some of these things. That is not to say that those who are working in the
Can't do where my
yeah, okay, thank you very much. Now I'll come to my left. And
yeah, we were doing it trash, and
young girl, and I went in. The wife in him. No retreat.
Yes. So on the CSI, I some of these days, maybe you should check and ensure if some of the lands are and some lands are outside. Is it normal? So I'm also observed and I'm sure some dimensions.
And I'm creating peanuts.
The issuance of permits, especially environmental impact assessment.
You receive updates.
Permits for some manufacturing industries.
Yeah, you receive
and to the extent where they equate one of
your mandate question.
Try to give you 5 minutes.
And a lot of filling stations.
Where they are that.
Another example is
this is here.
There is a thing in
they also try again in 5 minutes. Say 5 minutes now.
You get this issue in the first place. And when they are non issues, what are you going to come to ensure that such benefits are
waiting back? It's true. There have been some serious debate over the operation of some hospitals. And I guess the debate
about your save account balance is 2 cities. Your save account balance is 2 cities. Your save account balance is 2 cities.
Yeah.
And what more for? How do they get any cry? That's what young girl now. I'm not going to say.
We ensure that the powers given to the administration is used effectively without any difficulty. Then there are some interactions with the leadership of leaders in the particularly.
I plan the man.
This is something that I want to question. It's very good to my understanding is that it's given every 2 years. So there are some preconditions. If we issue the permit, these are the things we need to do. EPA sat on the matter, then refused to issue the permit.
That's all right.
And if you look at the law, we can then petition the minister. And the company petitioned the minister. The minister constituted a team to see into it. And I think that there were some changes thereof. So it's a matter I want to look at. It's not only embarrassing. Many other entities that are operating that do not meet the standard. And EPA, once again, will not have a carte blanche. The fact that the law permits you to do that, it doesn't mean you can do anything. I have the responsibility to monitor and supervise as much as I will get involved in the legal aspects of the insurance. But if there is anything the minister will do, I don't want to do it. I want it to be done in accordance with law, and that's what I'm saying.
You may ask the follow-up.
Yes, so I think your answer is not bad.
And again, I don't know what's now.
When things are already been granted, find that for whatever reasons you want to regulate are not the same. I think the legal process the idea of anyone.
We have a young baby for me. It's a bit not yet. It's a photo. I guess I'm supposed to be more. Make it cute. Yo, office. That's what we are. We need action.
But they checking my and about to
we are casting toss and man.
And then I win number.
We give you prepare. What's the Sophia? What could you lose account? That is 12 in 2 series. Hey. I don't go for the Gaza. That's like my passion. What the passion there? And it's just where there? Hey. What's that pop? Are you focus on IT for us? Practical way now.
Oh, I didn't know.
New one, I want to try again 5 minutes.
You know what? Best stress. I didn't chance. So,
I don't know. What do you do to go empty office? Yeah. First, now we know. Blog mommy. What you mommy? Blog you mommy. On a brick, yes, I was streaming. Muantaka. I don't call. I didn't now call. I got 10 minutes.
Now, what are you called?
I was in the car. Nobody, I have to do that around the show. Yeah, yes, sir. Wait, that's how they show. You know how they show. I can't now. It's over 10 and 10 p.m. Check it out, we see it out. Over 10 and 11. No, that's the time. 10 over 2. It's 11 over 1 hour. 11, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I was 8, 9. I was 7, I was 7. But by overnight, a boss is out to let us see every you. But I was either 7 or 8. But since boy, who are who say was in the
center operation. There's one that the ministry has, but for proximity, they realize that the young men who are engaged in this were unwilling to transport those items to the center at Ajinkoto. So the ministry then decided, my mother, she was there, they then decided to have that at Agobush. The second information I'm getting is that the people are getting banded. But the question is it a case? Is it a case that the monies that were given to them based on what they were better said? That's one thing I want to when they break it, they can easily take it without taking into consideration they have and the one fact is one thing I want to do.
I don't want to. Oh no, we have a beautiful wife. No, as I was saying, I can't away.
So I will engage various stakeholders. I will engage the communities, those young men who are doing that. I've been to Agobushi a couple of times.
Let me share. But Facebook, join news. But which one you use for that? Who's up for one camera? I don't one camera. Or crack camera. Continue planning between one lawyer and after that. Any committee for them to put trouble on us. Pick winner for call here. Now what's it? Open breastfeed and put GBC. I feel one of Omufa Parliament streaming film. I don't see any engineer in this table. I'm to joy for the 2 more. I'm going to for GTV channel and to shut down.
And then the MPs of the area, the MPs senior committee of I share the same authority. So I will have further discussions with you. I don't want to write specific people do this when I don't have proper understanding. That is what I will do. Mr. Speaker, sorry, Mr. Chair. Thank you.
Thank you very much. It's now the turn of Honorable Party Bond. Please.
Thank you. And I really hate you. Who comes to my home? But no one upon home. And if you're more attending to me, I forgot to cross on my. If you're more attending to me, laughing.
Congratulations.
And this guy, your agenda. When you agenda, it's not here. Our presidential agenda. I'm going to be politics. Too gentle. And that's a Sunday. I was some presenting. Too gentle. 2028. Yeah, didn't show back. Now, for your share. 32 Hong Kong. It is a say boy agenda, man. She shall negotiate. Because honorable, I say, I say boy agenda, man. Information there will be I communicate first. I was also say yes,
the population.
Social building relationship with NPC. Into a cocoa to Saturday. I make a room. Not judging your civil cases per lawyer. And yes, also a very criminal case.
At the policy, the National Bank Safety Authority is no
Yes.
But I can't say National Bank Safety
Let me share the view. I say next week Thursday. Hey, I said I should have some member of you, man. That's Auntie. But why? Oh, ultimately. Ultimately with 2 days. Town.
The consequences of those actions to our business survival. Because if the environment can survive well, I check it out.
I don't know what they are saying. Because I said we the best that is a bit low. Save account. Okay, yeah, it take key somewhere and send a reflect. Because me and upon what to me, six, what to me best 5 and a past 6 and send a reflecting. Boom, empty.
First.
Into reflecting. We take here 1 hour time and send a reflect. Right. They almost send me message too. Say I YOLO acting. Since maybe a time. Once I have rural account balance is 12. Account to plan a between 2. Money them.
I just some 10 cities.
So what?
I just 10 cities.
Yeah, factory.
I just 10 cities.
And then 29. And then 30.
I just 10 cities. Saturday 10 cities. Sunday 10 cities.
Local industry, create more jobs and access
and the other cars through.
So that's one thing I can assure you. But what I will say is that I will engage in this ways. And if we do that, we want to give me the opportunity to serve the people of this country. But I will have some engagement interactions, not just with agencies, but business players within the environmental space. And I believe that there are several other issues that need to come so that together we You see how best we can find solutions. But you can't do this once again without engaging other ministries and agencies. But the issue of importing into this country borders on several ministries, Ministry of Trade and Industry and Agribusiness, and the Ministry of Finances, through their agencies. If we have some interactions in all functions. And of course, the Ministry of Justice and Economic Development focus on inequality. They will also have a role to play. That's what our obligation first. In order to find solution permanently to solve this problem. We may not be able to stop it entirely, but we should make it absolutely convenient for everybody who wants to engage in such.
As a follow-up, there's actually a law in place banning its importation. That is what the industry players in Ghana wants the ministry to enforce. So you are clothed with all the powers to ensure its enforceability. Let me go to my final question, Chairman. President Donald Trump, your good friend, the 47th President of America, for the second time, has signed an executive order taking out the United States from the Paris Climate Accord. It has a lot of global implications. Ghana is a signatory to that convention or treaty. What are some of the effects, in your view, that Ghana stands to suffer from the rigor of the from this all-important climate change, given the fact that in the west coast of America, we saw the fires there, California, even in Ghana, a lot has happened. It rains even in November, December, what have you. So some of us do believe in climate change. And a big power like the US taking the stance, especially in this very important period. I want to hear from you, and the country wants to hear from you. And I wish you the very best.
Chairman, I guess there was an earlier question that wasn't even there, but in my response, I did indicate that it is a worrying development, considering the fact that the US is the second of the green gas, and also taking into consideration the amount of money that Ghana as a state gets from the United States of America to support, the work and our effort for environmental sustainability. So the question is, US will go for the able to affect the funding sources that we get from the United States of America. My prayer is that it will affect those funding sources. And we have an outstanding relationship with America as a state. Ghana is a big democracy. And I think that through the diplomatic balance, we'll be able to have some bilateral agreement with the US government to see how we can contain some funding sources. Hoping that President Donald Trump will change his mind. And we're hoping and praying that if he changes his mind, that will be for the entire global community. But if he doesn't, we must find a way, innovative way, of ensuring that society support financial development in America continues.
Thank you very much. It's now the turn of Honorable Umar. Please have the floor.
Thank you, Chairman. My brother, comrade, congratulations. Thank you. And you've been a role model for a lot of you, not only from the northern region, but the entire country. We count on you to be one of the ministers that Ministry of Environment. I've been warned about solid waste and disposal in urban areas and communities. And I was wondering, or want to suggest, how do we get up with the I know it's in the area of local government. And I want to find out how will you work out with the local government to ensure that solid waste is part of the environmental solution is properly disposed. Thank you. And once again, I wish you well. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I remember when I was in Singapore, was the environmental once every month. When it was inaugurated, then we ought to have continued. Environmental or solid waste disposal is not only the responsibility of the state, it is also the responsibility of the citizens. How do we get citizens to speak so that they understand that that responsibility is not only the state, what do we all have to do? And I think that we can do that through sensitization and education. And you cannot do that in isolation as in a state. We certainly have to do that in a greater fashion with other ministry. And I don't see it to be a work between Ministry of Environment and only local government. You know, Ministry of Health. Ministry of Health has a role to play because the consequences of this affect the Ministry of Works and Housing. They all have a role to play. So I think that I will be engaging my other colleagues to see how together we can fashion out something. One on education, Ministry of Communication, Ministry of Health to play in the so that we can sensitize the people of this country. The need for them to dispose such waste in a manner that is environmental friendly. I also said that we need to have a segregation of waste and home. That the state needs to come in to provide 2 separate dustbins for every household. So that solid waste is put here and liquid waste is put here. These are things that we all need to control. And I believe that with the support of certain individuals and entities, we can find solutions. So that's what I would do.
All right, are you done? Okay, all right. So now I'll go to Peter. Chairman, thank you for the opportunity. And let me commend my friend and your colleague. I see him is well composed. Congratulations. I don't know how you take this question, but give me your honest view. The previous government did not assign a deputy minister to your ministry. I appreciate the enormousness of work in the face of the transition of the world. Would you say that you subscribe to that you be without a deputy, or you think the president should assign a deputy? Mr. Chairman, I don't have the capacity to tell you what President wants to do. I am only working in accordance with the dictates of the President. And I have no doubt whatsoever about his sense of judgment. He knows why he wants whether we should have a deputy or not. So, Mr. Chairman, I can't be answering the capacity to answer. Actually, I can say is that President now has proven beyond his vision. He has in terms of idea is eloquent. Besides us, remember that we are not talking. That's what I'm saying. Put the brakes on that a bit. My next question, however, my friend, is on racial side. And especially areas that will soon focus upon marriages. It is relevant how important these sites are many more. I don't know if you know which hours
Use power share. What's the thing you going? Do you use Apple Command?
I'm not going to work with isolation. I'm going to work with enormous capacity and abilities to fashion our policies that will stand the tide of what we are concerned about. But that's now saying that we could have a task force that will have a responsibility of monitoring compliance, environmental compliance, and Ministry of Environment, Science and Technology cannot do it alone. Once again, we relate with other ministries. If you get a sense, I'm always talking about the interlinked to become a development planner by profession. And I know how important working together can yield the results. If you work in associations, as ministries and agencies, you continuously have some of the problems we have. So once again, I will engage further. I will engage the experts in the ministry, various stakeholders, including, the public. They won't have the way to do it. And most important to the other ministries and
follow up. Okay, sometimes it is easier said than done. No, I don't know what you say.
I do not go for
sometimes your stakeholders may be thinking differently from
tell me activate him. Tell me taxi him.
Now,
I'll give them that as well
the CSR, as you do know, is a network meeting, right? Yes, it is. You know how important it's like.
I consider this to be your third last question.
Chairman, I'm just asking you. Well, Chairman, if it is the case, you don't want me to proceed. No problem. I thought that I'm just asking. No, I want to have a chat with our community. It's very important. They are very important issues. These are not controversial here. Okay, go ahead. Go ahead. In any case, I know. So don't want I was asking you with respect to you. I don't know. Please, you have to answer my question. The decline in biodiversity has come out strongly as one of the red flags issues in terms of our environmental conditions. I don't know what your thinking is going into the ministry. The endangered species, i.e. flora or fauna. What will be your strategy to deal with this concern?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I don't know if this should be how many times I'm going to answer the same question.
Correct.
Answer the question with the same,
if we ask it for,
I'm saying yes, a single question and providing an answer that will be a repetition of the previous answer that I provided.
Well, let let me drop that and ask a different question. That's fair. Honorable nominee, we amended the Green Power Act, and among the reasons was
keeping minutes, for
renewable the usage of renewable energy. So that's how come we have the Green Power Authority and all that. However, we are still stuck with the 10% of renewable energy when you look at the energy mix. And we appear to be proud about it. For almost a decade now, we are still moving around the 10%. What's your own assessment of this? And what do you think we can do to facilitate the adoption and the usage of renewable energy now?
Yeah, that's it. I'm keeping the family crying.
Some difficulty. There's some book. If you take Malcolm, take high school, there is water. I'm told that they're all using solar now. So if we can have a simple solar use, but I think that's you must begin somewhere. Remember what we also even when it was night out, we still have I
didn't even take a credit in the brain.
Parliament, for example, you can decide that Parliament will do solar. The initial capital investment is huge. There have been instances where ministries are embedded to ECD. The former Minister for Finance is here. He has a lot of difficulty dealing with ECD over the embeddedness of some state institutions. If we begin with that, I think that for me is one way that can help. Renewable energy, practical ways, is one thing that we can harness the sea to generate something. If you go to Calio, somewhere in Upper West, Laura, the intention was to generate about 10%. Now, unfortunately, they are generating below 4%. How do we speed up? I mean, even if you have 10%, maybe 15-20%, that will help in our days.
John, I'm happy you mentioned the Calio solar farm, but he failed to add that the Calio solar farm was thought to be initiated and implemented by the SYMPP administration. He should have added that at least. Anyway, my next question, Honorable Mutala, it's about quite controversial, but I know you are capable. Germany is shutting down its coal plants. All over the world, the European world, other countries are gravitating towards clean. However, there are experts who say that Africa should pick and choose. We should pick and choose, and we should know our priority in terms of our unique stage of development. The fact that Germany is shutting down and they are gravitating towards clean energy doesn't mean we should necessarily do that, because the developed world.
Climate repair, and what was your Mukran amendment as a route? Or no, but Japu, was a Latin Ukraine, you two of your class. When is a mission maybe petrol cars use? I use electric cars. I don't say, you can be bigger. I do not know who's police here.